allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Christie, can you call the roll, please?
Gordon Holmes. Bob Nelson.
Here.
Mark Meyer.
Here.
Arlene Dean. Sam Powers.
Here.
Ron Richards. Caroline Schwarzenbach. Here. Skylar Wetzel. Here. Thank you.
We do have a quorum. I'd like to go on to the adoption of the agenda. Each council member is reminded as we go through the agenda tonight, if you do have a conflict of interest, please let that be known. We'll accept the motion to approve the agenda. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You have in your packets council minutes from the August 7th meeting. I'll accept a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the August 7th council meeting.
A second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We also have in your packages bills in between. I'd ask that you review those and accept the motion to accept the bills in between.
I'll make that motion to accept the bills in between.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the bills in between. Is there any discussion, questions, or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Also have in your packages the current claims. I accept a motion to accept those current claims.
I'll make the motion to accept the current claims.
I'll second the motion.
I do have a change to the current claims in your packet. There's a decrease. There was a charge on page 5 that was submitted including sales tax. We called the vendor and had that removed. It is for Marco Technologies. It was reduced by $2.80. So the total balance of the claims is $112,005.70.
Okay,
Should I change my motion to?
go ahead and change the,
That's just be part of the discussion, and then there's no current claim.
okay.
Did it with the dollar amount.
Okay.
We do have a correction. Are there any other questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the current claims as corrected signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This time, I'll ask if there's any communications from the public. Seeing or hearing none, we'll move on to personnel. I believe that we can take items A through F as one motion. I'll accept a motion to approve the personnel actions listed A through F.
I'll make a motion to approve personnel actions A through F.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we accept those personnel actions A through F. Any questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We will move on in the agenda. Please note, we do have a public hearing at 7:10 and at 7:15. Committee reports, administrative and finance. Carol Ann.
I don't have a report right now. We have our next meeting on September the 5th at 1 o'clock.
Okay, and please note to the public, we made a decision to have only one administrative and finance meeting per month. The Airport Advisory Committee, Georgia, is not here. I don't believe that there's any significant changes in airport operations. I know they're getting ready to host the Balloon Festival coming up this weekend, so that's a big event for them. Custer Fall River Regional Waste Management District, Ron is not here for a report. Downtown Historic Preservation Commission, Carol Ann.
We meet September the 6th at 5:30 at the library.
Okay. Evans Plunge Advisory Committee, Skylar.
We did have our first meeting last Thursday. We discussed adding an additional committee member. We also talked about the roofing update, which should be completed by the end of the month. We looked at the 5-year plan, and our next meeting will be September 21st.
Okay, thanks, Skylar. Parks, Recreation, Beautification, and Cultural Development, Marty.
Nothing to report since the last meeting. The next meeting will be September 4th at 3 p.m. and the public is invited to attend.
About the 5th is the 4th, I think it's Labor Day.
Oh, that is the holiday, actually. So it has our meeting on,
Tuesday.
then that would be scheduled, yes, for September 5th.
Okay.
At 3 p.m.
Okay, thanks, Marty. Planning Zoning Commission, Harleen is not here. I did attend the meeting. The only significant decision that was made at that meeting was to plant 2 lots at the Bowling Falls subdivision at the entry gates to plat those lots so they can be sold to the housing group there at Bowling Falls. Public Safety, Bob.
Public Safety met on August 16th. Chief of Police was with us, Mayor Cotty, myself, in old business, as was requested of the council, or of the public safety by the council. We're reviewing the animal ordinances as it pertains to dog bites. We're strengthening the language and the protections for any dogs that are involved in a bite to make sure that they're not put down inappropriately. The changes have been sent out to the folks. We'll take a look at it. So when it's ready to be forwarded to the full council, we'll send it out, see what you folks think about it. Right now it's in draft form as far as the council is concerned, or the public safety council is concerned. We also talked a little bit about the traffic law and truck bypass during the 4th of July. It was recommended that, or for consideration, 25-mile-an-hour speed limit signs at both ends of the bypass during the fireworks display, having patrol cars with flashing lights at both ends to let folks know that something is going on here to raise their attention. And also having a bicycle officer actively patrolling both sides of the highway up and down, letting folks know where they're telling them what's going on, to be careful of traffic. Those are some of the things we're looking at. Obviously, we have quite a while to fine tune it and figure out what we need to do. Those are some of the things that we discussed. The next public safety committee will be September 20th, 2 o'clock at City Hall. Over the phone.
Thank you, Bob. And we've got about 2 minutes. If you could start on the Public Works, and I'll have to interrupt you for the 7th hearing.
Well, I'll try to make it short. We met August 15th, just the mayor and myself. The sludge to water equipment that we've been talking about routinely, the installation of that is still ongoing. Everything's good there. We also talked about the chipping of the brush piles. We talked about biochar before. The company that we were originally looking at didn't have equipment large enough to do biochar. Biochar is taking the trees, anything like that, and reducing them to a carbon-based product that has lots of uses for it. So we're excited about having the discussion again. Hopefully it would mean that the cost to the city would be significantly reduced, if not eliminated, by doing the biochar and getting rid of the brushes out there, brush piles, without having to burn them. So we're excited about that. And that's it as far as ongoing business. Next Public Works will be August 29th, 2 o'clock, City Hall, August 12th.
Okay, very well timed. Time is now 7:10. I'd like to open the public hearing. This deals with retail on-off sale wine license and package on or off-sale malt beverage license application from Dolgen Midwest LLC doing business as Dollar General Store to be used at 2101 University Avenue. At this time, I would open the public hearing. Are there any comments from those gathered here in the audience? Any comments from those on the council? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And Misty, do we need to approve this then?
Yes.
I'll accept a motion then to approve this on-off sale wine license at this time.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this on-off sale wine license and package off-sale malt beverage license for Dolgen Midwest LLC doing business as Dollar General Store.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion from the council? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Our next hearing will be at 7:15 p.m. We'll move on in the committee reports. Southern Hills Economic Development, Sam.
Okay, we met on Friday. We discussed some ongoing business. The Shedco members met with some local businesses this past week. There were a bunch of them, so it wasn't them all, but we had 2 relocations this month, one of which was a proposed business, juice bar. I'm not exactly sure what's going up, but they said that that's pretty much, going to happen. We discussed the office park, the industrial park. Progress is ongoing with that. And we had a presentation from some people from the Small Business Development Center and the West River Business Service Center. And the next meeting will be on September 15th.
Okay, thanks, Sam. Southern Hills Golf Course Advisory Committee, Skylar.
Our next meeting will be September 11th at 5 o'clock at the clubhouse.
Okay, thank you. And the Volunteer Fire Department, Ron is not here. Moving on in the agenda, we do have time to look at the second reading of Ordinance 1181. That's the ordinance amending Chapter 11, 19, and 27 to provide changes for establishing adult-oriented businesses in Hot Springs. I'm not aware of any changes that have been recommended for that ordinance. And again, just a reminder to everyone, this gives us as the city a power to regulate where we locate those businesses. At the current time, we do not have any ordinances on the books where we could determine where those businesses would locate. And we feel that acting this way ahead of time is a preemptive opportunity for us to make sure that those are not located near schools, churches, residential areas, and so forth. I would accept a motion to approve that second reading of that ordinance 1181 at this time.
I'd like to make the motion to approve the reading of ordinance 1181.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this ordinance. Is there any discussion, questions, or comments? Hearing none, I would ask that all those in favor signify by saying, excuse me, let's do a roll call. I would ask that Misty, you take the roll, please.
Bob Nelson,
Yes.
Martin Meyer,
Yes.
Sam Powers,
Yes.
Carol Ann Schwarzenbach,
Yes.
Skylar Wetzel.
Yes.
Okay, the ordinance is approved, and again, I want to thank the Planning and Zoning Commission, along with Kim Barberi, our Code Enforcement Office, for the hard work and research they did in getting that, along with our attorney, to review that to ensure that we label. I show the time to be 7:15. Again, I'll open a public hearing. What we're discussing here is a use permit on review for a bed and breakfast located at 846 Almond Street. Are there any comments from the public? Yes, I see a hand. If you could come to the microphone, please, and state your name and address.
My name is Ina Winter, W-I-N-T-E-R. I live in the Battle Mountain Parkway subdivision, which is outside city limits. However, Hot Springs is my community. I'm here to speak in favor of the use permit for the Almond Street B&B. I'm familiar with the property. Anyone staying at the property will have a favorable impression of Hot Springs. I'm also familiar with the operator. She is meticulous in her affairs, and I'm confident that neither the city nor her neighbors will experience any problems with the operation of this facility.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other comments from the audience? Again, this is a public hearing. Any comments from the council? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing and ask for a motion to approve that bed and breakfast located at 846 Almond Street.
I'll make a motion to approve the use permit on review for a bed and breakfast located at 846 Almond Street.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve that use permit. Are there any questions, comments, or discussion? Again, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. And moving on in the agenda to new business, the first item is to look at a motion and discussion to approve automatic budget supplement of $11,000 to the general fund. Parks Department improvement other than buildings listed there for Butler Park tennis courts resurfacing, and this revenue has been received in the LWCF grant. I would accept at this time a motion to approve that budget supplement.
I'll make a motion to approve the automatic budget supplement of $11,000 in general fund Parks Department improvement other than buildings for Butler Park tennis courts resurfacing revenue received from LWCF grant.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this automatic budget supplement of $11,000. Are there any questions, comments, or discussion? Misty, if you could just maybe give just a brief description of what we're doing and why we're doing it.
We were awarded a land water conservation fund grant through South Dakota Game Fish and Parks, and we did not budget to spend the grant part of the money, and now that the revenue's been received and it is a grant from a state or federal agency, we can do, as opposed to our supplemental appropriation formal ordinance to include a budget supplement, we can do it automatically because of the type of revenue it is, and we have already received the revenue.
Okay, so we have received the revenue, and we're just transferring that into the general fund, basically. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B is motion and possible discussion to approve contract 2017-4, and that's a use agreement for the Fall River Swim Team to use Evans Plunge Mineral Springs from September 2017 to through March 2018. This contract is the same as the previous one that the city of Hot Springs had with the swim team. Allows for free use. And it's another way that we as a city can support our youth in the community by offering this service. At this time, I would accept a motion to approve that contract.
I make a motion to approve contract 2017-4, use agreement for the Fall River Swim Team to use Evans Plunge Springs from 2/9/17 to 3/18.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve this contract. Are there any questions, comments, or discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'd ask all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. And again, I think this is a good thing that the city does to support our youth. Item C, we also have a possible motion and discussion to award the Front 9 Irrigation Main Installation Project to the low bidder, Triple Creek LLC, for $101,010. And I believe at this time I would accept a motion to approve and award that contract.
I think it's important to have the discussion, so I'll make a motion to award the Front 9 Irrigation Main Installation Project to the low bidder, Triple Creek LLC, for $101,010.
Second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we award that contract. And we have Jason here. I'd ask Jason if you would come to the mic and just give us a summary of what that contract includes and why it's so important for the golf course, particularly on those upper Front 9 holes.
My name is Jason. I'm the golf course superintendent out of Southern Hills. We have a 40-year-old irrigation system on the Front 9, and this is just one more phase to replace that. We're looking at about 5,000 feet of the main line that we're going to be installing, and we're going to be tying into a lot of existing laterals. This does not include any heads or anything like that, but our goal with this is to get the irrigation system to perform at an acceptable level so we can basically have more pressure and flow up to the top of the holes on the golf course. Currently, we're looking at about 35 PSI with the pumps running at max capacity. We're hoping to increase that pressure and flow with this main line up to an acceptable level with a minimum of 65 PSI. This is just going to save us tremendous amounts of work during the summer, June, July, August, when the demand for water is so crucial. Currently, we gamble a little bit with the weather if it gets up high. If we have a break and we don't have that part on hand, we can lose a green, and that really is our one of the reasons why people come and play golf here. So, the contract itself includes HDP pipe, which is high-depth polyethylene pipe. It's expandable. I don't have any first-hand experience, but talking to a lot of contractors and engineers, they've recommended that this is the only option we go with versus the PVC. It's going to, it should be able to, all the joints are fused together. It's like welded, like metal, but it's welded together. So there should be stronger. Right now, the current estimated lifespan on HDPE pipe, they estimate is well into 80 plus years, where PVC is, well, 30 perhaps, depending on how it's constructed. This right here, again, it's going to be tied in. We're just going to be installing valves where it ties into our existing main line, or the main line we're going to keep, I should say, and the laterals that we're going to keep, so we can valve off portions of the course if we have irrigation issues. We're not shutting the entire Front 9 off like we've been doing. So it's going to give us a little bit more flexibility when we're doing maintenance and repairs as well. Is there anything else I could talk about it?
Jason, is this was part of the master plan, as I understand, that was recommended by the group that surveyed our course?
Correct, yeah, this was priority number 1 on the master plan. This was done about, I think, 4 years ago when we had our master plan.
I had a question.
Okay, questions from the council? Go ahead, Caroline.
I just wondered, I know this isn't all you need to spend on the irrigation, is it? Is this a big part of it? What are we looking at?
This right here is about 5,000 feet of the main line. The total scope of this front line irrigation system is going to, when we're done, it's going to consist of completing the main line, which is probably going to be, I have specs in front of you, but probably an additional 5,000 feet, plus all the laterals. And the laterals are what the heads are attached to, and there's going to be probably another additional, gosh, I don't know, another maybe 10,000 feet of those. It's a significant amount. So yeah, this is, our goal here is with the irrigation designer, putting this up front is just to get that performance to an acceptable level while we continue to save for.
And while you fix the rest of it?
Yeah.
Jason, have you calculated or have some kind of idea, will it save you any man hours in hand watering that you've been doing?
It was kind of difficult to get an exact number on those because it fluctuates, but I can tell you right now, I mean, just this last week, it probably would have saved us at least 80 man hours, switching around impacts, heads, and hand watering the greens up on top.
Okay. Any other questions?
Jason, when would the work begin if this is working?
Currently, right now, the HDP pipe is on back order for about 10 weeks, so we're hoping that the work would begin sometime around November. We hope that they get it in the ground as soon as possible. We're looking at blowing out. We'd be flexible with them since it is on back order to get this pipe. But yeah, we're hoping to get it done sometime in November, start and finish in November.
Start and finish?
Yes, correct.
Which actually would be a good thing because the Gulf season is pretty well over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would have minimum interruption.
So I would just like to remind the council, in order to approve the bid, we would need to address where the additional funds would come from.
And the amount of those additional funds is?
Right now, we're looking at an estimated $37,410.
And I appreciate the time that you took to talk with me last week, Jason, and I shared my concerns. I wasn't comfortable with giving the police department a vehicle in 2018 because we were trying to figure out where money was coming from. So I didn't support giving them $38,000. I'm finding it very difficult to figure out where we're going to come up with $37,000 this year. What are the downsides to waiting until the spring or 2018? I'm not going to hold you to those, but what comes to mind? What scares you the most about it?
Spring is a busy time of the year for us to get ready to set up the course for the spring play. I anticipate that we would be involved a little bit with this contractor. There's some, I haven't looked at our tournament schedule and when they would be able to work. I think some weather issues, we might have some, well, it's fall, so, or spring, I guess you may have some weather issues. From a personal standpoint, I'd like to see it in the ground as soon as I can, but I understand that, there is a funding issue.
Yeah. Now, there's $40,000 in your 2018 budget that would cover the 37 that you're requesting now. Is that, do you have to put something off that you were hoping to do with the $40,000 for 2018?
No. This would be the next phase at that $40,000. If we, if we were lower and we can use that $40,000 for the next additional thing.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
So how long was the bidding open for the jobs?
A month and a half?
Yeah, at least a month and a half.
And was a good number of bids.
No, there was only 2 bids that were submitted. I talked to a few contractors. When they asked us our budget on this project, they didn't even submit a bid. They were going to be way too high, they told me. I think maybe having some of the specs, I don't know exactly what in the specs that they were concerned about, maybe scared a few of them away too, when I called them.
And Skylar, what was the consensus of the Golf Course Advisory Committee?
We're all on board. We know that this is going to save money in the long run, and you really need it.
If this was to be postponed until next year, would the contractor still be on board with that, or would we have to get rebid?
I'm not sure on that. I guess I'd have to, decide whether or not we were going to be.
I thought there was termination language in either the bid specs or the offer. I thought I remembered seeing a term, but I can't remember it off the top of my head.
I did talk to the contractor, and I did ask them, if the end date were to change, push back actually to 2018, would that be an issue? They didn't give me any reason to believe that it would be an issue. They might even prefer it. They didn't tell me that either. I don't know how that would affect, though, the whole bidding process of this project, since now the end date might be changed. But we did not anticipate the delay in the HDP pipe. We had not entered, of course, any contract with them or anything like that. All I can tell you is that, they would definitely entertain a flexible bid on this project.
Do you think it would be worth it to figure out from the other contractors you spoke with that didn't bid what their concerns were with the specs?
I could ask them that. Yeah. I don't know if I don't know how interested they were, or if they were just too swamped with work this spring.
Because our bid spec said for November, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
So
Actually, it was earlier than November, so
it could have been timing, right?
they could have been.
Any other questions or comments? Again, just for everyone's clarification on the council, what we're voting on is to go ahead and approve that $101,000 contract for this year. If we don't, again, as has been brought up here, that the bids came in $37,000 over what we have money allocated. There is a $40,000 in the golf course budget next year for projects such as this that we can use. So you have basically those two options before you. Again, there's no doubt, I think that we've heard from the discussion tonight, that it's something that's very much needed at the golf course. We have another catastrophic break in the system, or a real hot summer. We have the possibility of losing a green if we don't get that done by next spring. On the other hand, we have to be fiscally responsible also. So I just give those comments as you consider. Yes, go ahead, Carol.
We have set aside money for this irrigation project. There is money set aside for this. It's not like the police department doesn't have money set aside for a car. They do have money set aside even if it's next year for this project. At least that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, that's what.
I'm not sure how Misty wants us to juggle the money around, but.
Yeah, well, and just remember what you have budgeted for 2018 is neither received nor appropriated yet. We do have unassigned or cash reserve, cash available that you could allocate this year for spending this year on this project that has no impact whatsoever on the 40,000 that you have earmarked of 2018 revenues for golf course irrigation improvement. That could come from the general fund or the additional sales tax fund. Both of those funds, by action of the council, can have their unassigned cash balances assigned to a 2017 expense. Yep.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and call for a vote, and I'll ask Misty that you go ahead and do this via roll call, please.
Bob Nelson.
It's an important project. I think it says a lot to the community for the reasons I mentioned. January 1st, my vote would be yes. Today, it's no.
Martin Meyer.
Yeah, I would
Yes.
have the same considerations, and I guess at this time I would also have to vote no.
I think it has to be unanimous, so it's already been.
Right, so they keep going, or
His
should we?
vote.
Pardon?
So they keep going, but you're right.
His vote, yeah.
Yeah, I'd just like to go ahead and get a feel from the council. I'd call for a vote, please.
Sam Powers.
It's a money problem, you know? So, if we have the money set aside next year, I mean, I know that this is a problem, I know it's ongoing, and I've spoken to Jason about this, but I'm obviously to say no, but let's try and get this in for next year. Because we do have the money set aside for next year.
And Carolyn Swartzbach.
I'll vote yes, even though I know it's the debt, it was debt.
Skylar.
My friend voted.
Thank you.
Okay, again, I want to thank you. These are very, very difficult decisions, and I appreciate everyone's consideration. And Jason, please understand the vote here is not indicative of the meeting, just the timing and the money issue. Moving on to item D, we have discussion and possible motion to approve a temporary alcohol beverage license application from Woolies Western Grill for the Hall of Fame event to be held at the Mueller Civic Center on September 30th. I'd accept a motion at this time to approve that temporary alcohol beverage license.
I'll make the motion to approve the temporary alcohol beverage license at Woolies Western Grill for the Hall of Fame event on 9/30/17.
And second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion, questions, or comments?
Urgent concern, we won't have to form a need if you abstain from the vote, and I don't think that there's any harm in tabling these till the next meeting on the 5th of September. So with
We'll do
council
that.
approval, I recommend we do that.
Okay.
The next two items.
You mean to just change my motion to table the next two items?
Okay, we do have a motion then to table item D and item E until the next meeting, and the reason being we would have an abstention and would not have a quorum to be able to approve these. Again, it's not because there's any questions about the validity of these temporary licenses. Is there a second to Carol Ann's motion?
That's second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. We table item D and E until the next meeting. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. These will be on the next meeting's agenda. Moving on in the agenda, the finance officer's report.
No financials in your packets, but I did give all of you the DLA accepted audit hard copies. They were in your hallway folders at City Hall. If any of you would like to spend some time just one-on-one kind of reviewing those, if you have any specific questions, I invite you to do that I'd be happy to go over them with you. There's a lot of information in there presented a lot of different ways, and I know it's pretty quick even with our hour-long meeting before Cato presenting to the public on those audits. I'd like to invite you to do that. If you're interested, just let me know. We can schedule a time. The budget hearings, the 10 plus hours of budget hearing, the videos are now available on our website for view. Thank you to the Mueller Center staff and our social media coordinator for getting those posted for your viewing pleasure, the public. If you have 10 hours to spare and you want to watch those, they're there. I thank you all again for your time, and I've been working on the 2018 budget appropriation and related documents for that. We'll be presenting those to you soon. DLA accepted our audit with just a couple changes, and we uploaded those to our website, so they're now available on the city's website for public viewing. If you remember, about 9 months ago, you approved the finance office to do a water deposit cleanup project. We had not been properly escheating funds held in our water deposit fund to the state. Unclaimed property requires water deposit refunds to be escheated to the state within 1 year, and we just finally completed that very large project. And I know that Barb, our utility billing clerk, was very happy to see that done, and I as well was happy to see that done. I wanted to let you know that the last step of that has now been completed, and we are now compliant and up to date. I am gathering the propane pre-buy estimates, so that will be discussed at our next admin finance meeting and then on an agenda for approval. We reached out to, I believe, 6 different propane companies for quotes for our 2017-2018 propane use year, so that'll be on agendas coming up soon. And the search for city administrator is still ongoing. We have made it past another hurdle and are now, we've narrowed the field and are now awaiting the response to some questionnaires that were sent out. Another thing, we are comparing our auctioneering services. The city has some surplus properties that we're looking for an auctioneer to help us get rid of. I am expecting, I have not heard back yet from the one auctioneer that we have invited to see if he can come to either the admin finance meeting on the 5th or the council meeting the evening of the 5th to talk about his services. So there's more to come on that. And those are just summaries of some of the things that have been going on at City Hall and the finance office. As always, if you have any questions about anything, our door is always open, both to the council and to the public.
Okay, thank you, Misty. And just a couple of things to report. First of all, it's a privilege to live in a small state like South Dakota where you have access to your national legislators. Senator Thune stopped by our office this morning and for a brief visit, and I thought that was very appropriate. Had an opportunity to tell him some of the things that were going on here in Hot Springs, and he was very impressed that he said, there's a lot of things going on here, isn't there? Absolutely. One of the things that obviously had an opportunity to ask him was about the VA. He's still keeping an eye on that issue. Obviously no promises, but certainly in our court in that situation. So it was nice to see Senator Thune and to have a chance and opportunity to talk with him today. I do want to make just a comment that we are continuing to press forward. As Misty mentioned, we're looking at getting our surplus property auctioned off. We were a little bit disappointed that the GOED grant for tearing down the buildings on the city properties that we wanted to put additional housing, workforce housing units on, we did not qualify for because they weren't houses. We are still planning to go forward and make those lots available for development of workforce housing. And just a slow process of getting all the environmental studies done and getting a request for proposal taken care of. And again, I appreciate the council's support in approving our plan to do that. I also want to make note of an item that Bob brought up in his report. Biochar is a usable product that we can get for the mountains of brush that we have in our city maintenance yard. And I plan on writing a letter of support for the company that is looking at doing that so that they can get a grant to chip that material up and then turn that into a usable form of carbon. And one of the benefits that we may get from that is that we would have this carbon product has been proven to be a good fertilizer and that we could use in our city parks and or at the golf course. So it's a win-win situation to keep us from having to burn that pile, which would create kind of an environmental nightmare within our community for a few days as that smoke comes up. So we're working that, and that was some good news, and hopefully that will come to fruition within the next couple of months or so. With that, I would ask that there be a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that one.
I'll second.
Okay, I was hoping it would die for a lack of a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting's adjourned.